Hello Buns! Welcome back to Cinnabun Sundays, our weekly video series where we talk about all things bunny. I'm Morgan, Cinnabun's bun mom, and today I'm gonna get a little controversial, okay? Because I am gonna be sharing my rabbit hot takes. You guys know most of my opinions on rabbit care, and I like to think that most of the opinions that I have on rabbit care are pretty standard. They're pretty standard practice, like what a vet would recommend, what is naturally recommended to your rabbit. I'm trying not to come out here with any crazy controversies or any crazy statements, but I do have a couple opinions of my own, and I figure, you know what, we're close here. You guys, this community, we're all pretty good at listening to one another, so I'm gonna share my hot takes with you guys, and hopefully you don't get mad at me. And I do know for a fact that at least one of these on my list is going to make some of you mad. So I'm sorry in advance, but these are my opinions and that's what you're here for. So you know what? I'm going to start out with a doozy. Why not, right? Like, let's start out with a big one. I do not think that rabbits should really be on harnesses. And I say that as someone who has a literal video on the internet of how to harness train your rabbit. So I am saying this from a position of experience. I have put Cinnabun on a harness. Again, I have a video teaching you how to do so. And there are scenarios where your rabbit's going to be outside and you need to have some form of like leash or harness on them. And it's really important that they are comfortable in it and that it fits them. But for the most part, rabbits would rather stay inside. Outdoors is not really for domestic rabbits. They do not need to go on walks for exercise. They get plenty of exercise hopping around your house. There are a lot of predators outside. Just walking past like bigger dogs or hawks or other creatures can be really dangerous for rabbits. So the reason to bring a rabbit outside is not really benefiting them in any way. It's really just benefiting the owner because it's cute. And I have fallen prey to this. I have done this. I've taken Cinnabun on a harness on the beach. I've taken her in my yard in the snow. And you know what? Every once in a while, as long as you do it safely, whatever. I think as a general consensus, it should not be a daily practice for your rabbit to be out in the world on a harness. They have everything they need in their environment. If you've created a free roam space for them, they do not need to go outside. Going outside is simply just benefiting the owner. My next rabbit hot take is I don't think that rabbits are very dirty. I feel like that is the main thing that people use against rabbits. Like, oh, they're so dirty and gross and smelly and they get hay everywhere, which they do. But for the most part, I think rabbits are very clean. They clean themselves. You don't have to bathe them. They don't smell at all. The only smelly thing that you're going to have in their home is their hay and litter box. And as long as you clean that every day, it's not a problem. Like, the biggest mess that Cinnabun creates is her fur around the house, so I make sure to vacuum, but any shedding animal is going to leave fur behind. So it's not specifically for rabbits. And even if they do have like an accident outside of their litter box, rabbit poop is literally just like balls of hay. It does not have any odor. It is hard and clean. It doesn't smell at all. I just don't think rabbits are very dirty. And I think it's unfair for people to say, well, I don't want a rabbit because rabbits are smelly and dirty. The reason your rabbit is dirty is probably because you're not doing a good job cleaning up after them and taking care of their habitat. Next up, I do not think that rabbits are as sensitive as we think that they are. I say that with the caveat of rabbits are sensitive. They are prey animals. They are inherently more sensitive than a predator, which would be a dog or a cat. But I think that we coddle rabbits to a point where we're like, any little change is going to freak them out and cause them to go into stasis and cause them to die and freak them out. When rabbits are, they're mammals and they're very smart. They are adaptable, and I think that we need to give them more credit. Of course, you need to come at everything carefully, and you don't want to overwhelm your rabbit, but I went into owning Cinnabun so scared that any loud noise was going to set her off, that any change in her environment was going to be the end of the world, when really it just is. Your rabbit will get used to it, and as long as they feel comfortable with you, their owner, and they feel safe with you, changes that you make are not going to completely terrorize them. They might get scared, they might get a little freaked out, but they're gonna be okay. My next hot take is I think that rabbits are harder to take care of than dogs. I know, I said it, but I think it's true. Yes, with a dog, you have to take them on walks and you have to take them out to the bathroom. So that's more like involved labor. But as far as the actual care that a rabbit needs, I just think it's so specific, and I really do not think a lot of people are meant to be rabbit owners. Gaining a rabbit's trust is very difficult, so it needs to be a certain type of person who is very patient and very loving and very nurturing. Because there are a lot less vets that are trained to take care of rabbits, you need to be really aware of your rabbit's tells, and if something's wrong, it's not as easy as just going to the closest vet around the corner. You have to have a rabbit vet set up. There's just a lot of little things that I only trust my parents to watch Cinnabun. I don't trust really anybody else because I'm like, they don't know how to take care of her. They don't understand her. And of course people can learn, but I just think there's so much more information out there about dogs and cats, and we have just been taught our whole lives how to care for them, and they're a lot more resilient. Where rabbits, they have a very sensitive diet. They hide their illness, which is a whole other thing. That makes them just super hard to take care of. And they're just weird. They're different pets and they're harder to understand. So I personally think that a rabbit is a more difficult pet to own than a dog because there's just less support for that. Okay, we've come to my final one, and this is the one that I think is actually going to upset a lot of you. So I really hope that you take this with a grain of salt. I personally believe that rabbits should not live in an environment with other animals, specifically predators. So I'm talking about like dogs and cats. Definitely they can live with other rabbits, you know, like that's awesome. That's great. Rabbits love to be with other bunnies and they love to like have that company. But I think that introducing other animals to the environment is so risky and can be so dangerous. Of course, there are stories of rabbits and dogs getting along, and if you are one of those cases, that is incredible, and I'm so happy for you, and that's amazing. But I think as a general consensus, when you get a rabbit, you should get the rabbit understanding that you probably shouldn't be getting another pet as well. There's just so many things that can go wrong. When a dog's natural instinct is to be a predator and a rabbit's natural instinct is to be prey, even if they're trained to spend time together, that natural instinct is still there and you never know what could set them off. Even just a dog trying to play with your rabbit could kill your rabbit because they're much bigger. They have really sharp teeth. They could just be like trying to like snap at them and play, and it could break your rabbit's neck. My personal opinion is I think that if you are committing to owning a rabbit, you should not be considering getting another type of animal because I do not think that they are meant to be together. Again, I really hope this doesn't upset a lot of you who I know do have other animals and that works out great for you. That's amazing. Again, I'm so happy for you. But I think that if you are getting a rabbit today, your intention should be like, okay, I'm gonna have a rabbit and this is a 10-year commitment. If I want more pets, they'll most likely be other rabbits or like a fish or something, but mixing predator and prey I just think can get really messy and really dangerous, and unless it's a perfect situation, there's just so many things that can go wrong, and I don't think it's worth it. So that is just another reason why when you're thinking about getting a rabbit, it's a big decision and should never be taken lightly, because this can alter other pets that you have for the next 10 years. So truly think about it if you want to get a rabbit. Is this the animal you want to commit to for the next decade? Because honestly, that's kind of what you're signing up for. Those are my rabbit hot takes. Please don't cancel me. Please don't get mad at me. And again, I know that some of these takes are things that some of you guys like to do. And again, the minority is not the majority. So if some of these things that I said totally work for you and work great for you and your rabbit, that's awesome. I'm just speaking as like a general whole, my overarching opinions and the way that I have raised Cinnabun and the way that I will move forward with raising Cinnabun. So I hope you found this interesting. Let me know very nicely and kindly in the comments if you agree or disagree. And those are my takes. And you know what? We are all humans and we change our minds. I might change my mind in the future, but as of now, those are the stances that I have taken. Those are the things that I believe about rabbit care, and I hope that you guys still watch our videos. Thank you so much for watching today, and we will see you in our next video. Bye, Buns!